Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. We are excited about today's presentation featuring experts Dr. Ashley Spanigal, Dean of Career and Technical Education at Southeastern Community College, and Dr. Monty Gonzalez, President of the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. Ashley and Monty will provide an overview of the future of education from an innovative lens focused on supporting the future of the industry. Webinar Wednesday would like to thank our sponsors, College of Biomedical Equipment Technology and Southeastern Community College. The College of Biomedical Equipment Technology is a private college offering BMET and HTM training at the certificate and associate's degree level. Their leadership team is comprised of individuals with decades of experience in the healthcare industry and education. For more information, please visit cbet.edu. While some at SCC are beginning the journey to a 4-year degree, others are learning specialized skills to enter a rewarding career. No matter what your path, SCC has the resources you need to set and surpass your own expectations. For more information, visit scciowa.edu. A few announcements before we get started. Please join us for continuing education, networking, and vendor engagement opportunities at our HTM mixers over the next few months. We will be in Milwaukee on July 14th and 15th and in Kansas City on September 9th and 10th. Please visit htmmixer.com for details, registration, and our steps to a safe and clean meeting environment. While you're there, please make sure to sign up for our newsletter so you always have the most up-to-date information. Let's give one lucky attendee the opportunity to win a Webinar Wednesday t-shirt by answering the following question. The College of Biomedical Equipment Technology is accredited by which organization? You can find the answer by visiting our sponsor's website. Please use the questions feature on the GoToWebinar dashboard to submit your answer. As always, today's webinar is eligible for 1 continuing education credit from the ACI. You can obtain your certificate by completing the post-webinar survey. More details on this at the end of today's webinar. We'll wrap up with a live Q&A. You can submit your questions at any time during the webinar by using the questions feature on the webinar dashboard. We'll get through as many questions as time allows. As I mentioned earlier, our speakers today are Ashley Spanigal and Monty Gonzalez. Monty, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Hi, welcome to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Monty Gonzalez. I'm the Director of College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. I am here today with my colleague, Dr. Ashley Spanigal.
Hi, welcome everyone. We're glad to have you today. I am Ashley Spanigal. I'm the Dean of CTE and Workforce Development at Southeastern Community College in West Burlington, Iowa.
So Ashley, the reason we're here today is we want to share with the healthcare community and HTM community specifically the concept that we have been working on, and that is really talking about the idea of an educational consortium and how educational institutions can partner to elevate the game and bring excellence to the curriculum and content and instruction that we provide to biomedical professionals and those interested in becoming professionals in this industry. So talk to us a little bit about the SCC perspective on that.
Sure. So we are a rural community college in southeastern Iowa. We serve about 2,500 students on an annual basis. We serve 4 counties in the southeastern Iowa area. We're a traditional community college. We're a public institution, offer 2-year degrees. We have 2 campus locations. We have beautiful campuses. If you walk on campus, it's the traditional college campus feel that you would expect to encounter. We mainly have programs on campus. We're a brick and mortar institution, so we have the traditional things that a college campus would have. We have student housing, we have a cafeteria, we have all of these programs that students can choose from.
So about a year and a half ago, Ashley, I was walking through the Denver airport and I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered it, which I don't always do. And a really wonderful lady on the other side of the phone said, "I'm from Iowa and I'd like to talk to you about a possibility of partnering with you on an educational initiative." And so I listened quietly, and you described yourself as in a panic looking for instructional support. But what I actually heard was an opportunity to collaborate with another educational professional in a space and in a way that others are not used to collaborating. So I did listen, and I think we did respond to the affirmative, and our relationship, as you described, started in a panic. As I described, started with potential. So talk to me a little bit about your perspective on that, and where we're going and what we're doing to tear down silos and build those partnerships.
Sure. So I came into this position, this role, in July of 2019, and when I stepped in, I received kind of a here you go, a soft handoff for a couple of students that were enrolled in our biomed program that had no instructor. And the instructor had taken a promotion, moved on to another institution, which was great. However, it left us with a hole, a very large hole, and to ensure educational continuity. And so I kind of panicked about it for a couple of months because we've looked under every rock there was in the tri-state area to find an instructor, a qualified, quality instructor, and just couldn't come up with one. And so I took to Google and started doing some research on who it is that's in this space, who it is that does this training in the biomed space, and landed at CBET's website, and kind of the rest is history.
For us, for the outsider looking in, what's the value of two educational institutions partnering? Are you not giving away your business to the neighbor? But no, we're not. There's enough work out there to be done to allow for collaborations of this sort. And if at the end of the day, you and I, as leaders in the industry, are focused on a priority that puts the student first, then that is necessary. It's not only convenient, but it's necessary.
Sure.
And so our collaboration really provides a unique opportunity for us to support a traditional institution that offers things that we can't. We don't have a brick and mortar facility. You do.
Sure.
For students that want a traditional experience, that need that traditional experience, that need the perhaps different financial support programs that are in place, that more robust architecture, student support services,
On-campus living.
Absolutely. SEC offers a wonderful package of support opportunities for
Sure.
a student that we're not positioned to provide. You give us that opportunity to contribute on the curriculum side, the instructional side, to be able to deliver that to a group of students that we would otherwise not be able to access. So it,
Sure.
in many ways, is like the perfect collaboration. And you know, we're just excited that it's you, because we also like you. So that works out well. It works in our favor.
And I think another thing that really allows this program at SEC to stand apart from maybe some of our peer institutions in Iowa and their programs, sometimes in academia, in a public institution, our curriculum processes and the regulatory requirements that we have to meet for accreditation and Title IV eligibility, some of them oftentimes require a great deal of time. And so it requires us to plan a long time ahead in order to make curriculum changes and things like that, bring on new programs. And the beauty of the way your program is designed is you can be responsive tomorrow. And sometimes we don't have that ability to do that because of the regulatory requirements and just the timing and the staff that we have. And so sometimes it's really beneficial when we can work with a partner such as CBET who has their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry, and then help us be responsive as a result.
Yeah, and I think that's really the key point. So as we look at what we want out of this educational consortium, a key element for us and a key factor in our success thus far has been partnering with really wonderful partners in the industry. We have just a list of really important strategic partners that provide updated demands. What are the skills? What are the knowledge requirements? What does a student need to be able to do the minute they walk into that facility? We had a conversation earlier today with a healthcare provider in Iowa, and the feedback that we received was oftentimes they get students from educational institutions that are not prepared to do the work. You indicated that there was an instance where someone said they had a 4-year training period. That's unacceptable. The industry today is moving at rocket speed, and if you're not moving at rocket speed with it, you're being left behind. Before you entered into our lives at SCC, we had really cemented our opinion with the fact that traditional educational institutions are too vanilla. They are not, they had a mindset that they were guiding industry, that their educational opportunities were guiding industry. It's the opposite way around, and it's hard to find a partner like you that agrees that it's the opposite, that industry is driving education. And if we're not agile and adaptive and focused on what the industry needs, then we're failing the students. We really are.
Sure.
So I think, you know, that if we look at what SCC provides, what CBET provides, the collaboration, it's an opportunity to really elevate the game and what we're providing to healthcare professionals all over the world. But we're excited about this proposition, and I think it really sends a message to the industry that we are not competing in terms of developing education.
Sure.
We're collaborating, and that is what education needs to do, because yeah, we all want to be successful. We want to grow programs. We want to have students. At the end of the day, none of that matters if you're not serving the industry properly. And by that I mean if you're not prioritizing the students in all that you do. And if there's one message I left your campus with in my head, it's that that is a priority at SCC, and I really appreciated that.
Certainly, and I think one of the things that makes us unique at SCC is we do have that desire to serve our students first. That's our president's motto, and that's everyone's motto at the institution, that if it's in the best interest of students, then that's what we're doing. If it's not, then that's not what we're doing. And so we have a very students first mentality and focus, laser sharp focus on all that we do. And so one of the other parts of our mission is that we strive for economic vitality, and we can't do that if we're not responsive to industry needs. And so BioMed is one of the programs that we have. We have many others that we become irrelevant if we fail to meet industry needs. And so that's why it's really important that we be innovative, we be creative, we be responsive, which sometimes is not easy, working around the structures and systems in education that sometimes take a lot of time to navigate through. But in the end, the product will be so worth it to the students and to industry.
Yeah, when we talk about putting students first, there's a couple of things that just like come right out to me at the forefront. We have a really massive inquiry globally for students that want to be involved in this industry. We've worked with a handful of international students and really thoroughly enjoyed that experience. What we have discovered, though, is that a lot of those students want to come to the United States and study and train. As an online college, we don't have that ability to serve the students in that way. So the opportunity to partner with SCC and provide a program that is acceptable and open and welcome to international students is fantastic. It helps us reach an audience of great potential students that we would otherwise not be able to serve. So I don't know if you can talk a little bit more about the international student experience.
Sure, of course. So we, pre-COVID, were positioned this year. We were going to have approximately 150 international students on campus. That number has declined a bit due to COVID, but we're anticipating that it will be back up come fall. But we do, since we have the traditional campus structure and support, all of the campus housing, food available on campus, we have all of those things in place that we are set up to handle international students, and we already have them on campus. And so one of the things that is in our kind of framework of plan is that we will be having a lab experience also available so that we can bring the program kind of back to brick and mortar, but with a much different flair than it had before. And so with a lab, standing up a lab that will allow us to take in international students. And then we'll continue to partner with CBET on the provision of of instructional services.
And I think that's really great, Ashley. I know for us, again, what began as a relationship of necessity, okay, has really turned into one of unlimited opportunity and potential. And we've really seen this partnership as what we're able to use to start to break down those silos in education and things that cause people to stagnate. You adopt those perspectives and those positions that satisfy your inquiry, that satisfy your need, that fulfill your belief system, right? And you get stovepiped. And so to bring an institution like yours to us and vice versa, to look at it from the other person's perspective and see this, has been tremendously helpful for us. And not only have, we had the satisfaction of being able to work with you and support you and your students, but you've also helped us. You've helped us see things from a different perspective. You've, in a short amount of time, really for us become flagship Iowa. You're in a place and doing work that we would otherwise not be able to touch.
Sure.
Okay, but through you, we've been able to touch an entirely new community, support an entirely new region of the United States, and really broaden and build our credential and our bona fides. So that it's been a really fantastic relationship. And we know that where we're at today is not where we're at tomorrow.
Sure. So,
one of the things that you and I have talked about in terms of how can we further strengthen this consortium that we're developing is how do we further bridge that gap between what we're doing in education and what industry is doing.
Sure.
Industry is always going to be slightly ahead. We accept that. Our objective is to stay as near to them as we can. Okay, and it's not always easy in education because we have regulations, we have rules, we have restrictions, and we have a pace that we cannot move faster than.
Sure.
But we try to move as quickly as we can. So in our efforts to stay in pace with industry, I think one of the most innovative things we've talked about is that in education, we have routine advisory council meetings, typically at least once a year. I thought you brought a fantastic idea to the table the other day, and we were talking about this, is let's do 2 advisory council meetings a year. You're going to lead one from your perspective, and we'll lead one, and we'll invite each other to participate. That is an amazing idea, and it's going to connect and build bridges that we've never even considered before.
Sure, and it prevents us from duplicating efforts. Why would we duplicate efforts if we can, there's strength by numbers. So if we could build upon one another, why not do that? And the last thing I want to do is invite a very busy industry partner to 2 separate meetings where it could have occurred in one meeting. So that's really a value I think we add to the industry partners that we serve. And Iowa requires us to have 2 advisory council meetings per year, and the ability to partner with CBET adds so much more depth and breadth to our advisory council because they have a nationwide network and a global network in some spaces, and we don't at SCC. And so it allows us to really tap into subject matter expertise that's never ending, and allows us to have much more valuable and rich feedback than we could have ever hoped for. So we'll be serving not only our local industry partners, but we'll also be serving the global marketplace. And so we'll be able to keep up with that pace much easier.
Right, and one of the things that we had discussed in that earlier meeting was, how do we add value to these forums? How do we make that opportunity, that experience worthwhile to the industry partner? We often go to industry and say, we need your support. Come talk to us about this. What's the value proposition for them? We had a call recently and discussed this opportunity with an industry partner, and their feedback was, yeah, I've participated on an advisory council meeting before, provided input, and it was ignored. I'm not going to do this. Well, we have to acknowledge that.
Sure.
And we have to provide that feedback, and we have to let them know that your input is the most valuable thing we can receive in terms of how we guide and push our curriculum and our content to support you. So I think our goal as we talk to our industry partners, and this week we're going to have a fantastic opportunity at MD Expo to do that. If there's someone here that wants to participate with us in an advisory council meeting, the door is wide open.
Sure.
Come talk to us about what your needs are, because if we don't know what those needs are,
we can't respond to them.
Can't respond to them.
Yeah, I once had an advisory council member, he was a former member, tell me that he felt like advisory councils were just a formality, and that was like a punch to the gut, because if we, especially in public education and the way we work and our infrastructure and our regulations and our accreditation, advisory councils are the mechanism we use to remain relevant. And if we are not listening to the industry partners that are coming to those meetings and voicing their concerns, their needs, the skills that they want and desire of their employees, we're not doing something right, and we need to course correct that. So yeah, I'm really excited about the expo. I think I'll have an opportunity to connect with other people beyond the scope of Southeast Iowa that are in the industry, to just learn more about the industry and learn. There's so many different connections to be made of how we could make this such a better experience and more richer experience for students.
So Ashley, one of the other programs or initiatives that SCC has that we are incredibly supportive and excited about is SCC's efforts to reach both secondary and middle school students, to introduce them to career pathways in this industry. It provides an opportunity for us to engage with you, both in your region, but also nationally on the online programs with the next generation of biomedical equipment technicians, to introduce this foreign concept to them before they make a decision on which direction they're going, because we have a really exciting industry, and I don't know if they understand this. In fact, I would say most of them don't. Biomedical what, right?
Sure.
So you have a Kid Tech program, a KT Pro program, and a co-enrollment program, I believe you call it. Can you just provide us a little more details on kind of what those equal, what that is?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think you mentioned was that the problem begins younger, and that's really when we have an opportunity, and I think that's the key. It's an opportunity that we have that hasn't been quite figured out yet, but we can't start reaching kids when they're 12th graders, trying to provide them all of this exposure to different career opportunities. We just can't. And so one of the things that we've been working on at SCC quite extensively, putting a lot of manpower, a lot of resources toward, is the concept of building out career pathways for students. So Kid Tech is a program that we offer each summer. It's basically a summer camp program where students get to engage with different types of career fields. And so the one geared toward this area is based on cybersecurity and related to the health industry and the careers in the health industry. So that's Kid Tech. That's for middle school, junior high, and elementary students. And then we have a program called KT Pro. That's a program that typically runs during the school year. However, sometimes we offer those in the summer space just to provide those older kids with some opportunities. But it's typically geared toward 8th through 11th grade students, and that's a more kind of deeper dive into a career opportunity. And those are typically hands-on experiences. Just to, if you think about workforce development as a funnel and a talent pipeline as a funnel, right? You need to kind of cast the nets wide and then rein them in. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. Our dual enrollment program, we have courses that occur during the summer now, during the school year as well on our campus, in school buildings. We have a lot of concurrent enrollment going on. And so students get high school credit and college credit when they engage with courses like that.
So one of the things, a couple of things. First, what a fantastic opportunity. Okay, a couple of years ago, Amy initiated this HTM in a box concept to introduce this industry and this idea to high school students. I think it's a great program. I think it's a great initiative. What you guys have done, though, is taken that to the next level. You've actually engaged in that initiative directly, both in Iowa and regionally, okay, and collaboratively with us nationally in online programs and opportunities to deliver this sort of content in this program to high school students directly in an opportunity and a forum that puts them on that career pathway. Okay, not a concept, not a neat little video series, but an actual curriculum and content with real instructors that are going to guide these students. One of the things that I think is just absolutely amazing is that the state of Iowa has said we will fund up to 30 students.
Something like that.
30 Iowa resident high school students can go to SCC and earn 4 college credits in this course over the summer And it costs them nothing other than filling out the paperwork and qualifying to participate in the program.
It costs them no money for fees, tuition, textbooks, nothing.
Right. So here's my thought. We have conversations with industry partners all the time, and we're always telling them, you have to have some skin in the game. What is the industry doing to support us? We're asking for that support. What a wonderful opportunity. And we talked about this a little bit. Broadcast this message. If you know there's a shortage in the industry and you know you need personnel, you know you need technicians in the future, engage now. Share this message, talk about it. Sure. Here's a program for high school students to engage free of charge or in college credits and be introduced to this industry. There's no reason in my mind that at the end of this summer in Burlington, Iowa, there shouldn't be 30 graduates from this course in introductory to the biomedical field and have an opportunity to enter into this career pathway. It's amazing.
Sure.
So, you know, we looked at that, but the other piece I wanted you to kind of talk about a little bit more is, what else can the industry do? How else can they help us get kids into these programs?
Yeah, well, one of the, I think, really cool things that we're actually using the HTM in a box. We are promoting HTM Week in May to cast that net, to broadcast to not only students and school counselors and administrators, hey, these are the very real career opportunities available to you, but we're also promoting it to parents and other stakeholders, including industry. So anyone will be able to engage in those opportunities and see kind of what we're up to promote the HTM field and career opportunities that exist there. But I would say we're always needing industry folks to contribute, whether that be hopping on a webinar with us to talk more about the programs that we offer, the needs that exist, and whether that be promoted to other industry partners, or it takes a lot for a student to engage with an academic program. But if I can hear someone tell me that I'm going to hire you after 2 years and I'm going to pay you this much money and you'll have this benefits package, that's what they need. That they're all in at that point, because we could tell them those things all day, but the person who's actually hiring them, if it comes from them, it's so much more valuable. So anytime an industry partner, I would say, as an institution of higher education, anytime you are asked to engage with an institution of higher education to help with this process, please jump on the opportunity, because you'll see the fruits of your labor and you'll see it pay off.
And we had some really interesting conversations recently, again, looking at the white space. You know, where are there students that are underserved, or it just doesn't make sense to create a facility or a campus or a training program there because the numbers don't justify it, but the need does. So how do you bridge the gap between what you can afford to do and what you'd really like to do? So, you know, really good case in point. Fairbanks, Alaska. Okay, talked to an industry partner in Fairbanks, Alaska recently. He was bemoaning the fact that after nearly 30 years in the industry, he can't find his replacement. What a difficult dilemma to try to deal with, because beautiful place to live and work, fantastic resources, support, infrastructure. How do we help the folks in Fairbanks, Alaska overcome that gap? You know, what can we do? And we've looked at, you know, what is the next frontier in education? Well, maybe it's a healthcare system in Fairbanks, Alaska, or some other remote location in the United States or around the world. Maybe you carve out a little bit of space in your 200,000 square foot facility for a classroom. And maybe you create a Zoom technology or a classroom window into our classroom, and maybe the best instructor happens to be located in Fort Myers, Florida. Well, do you want the second, third, or fourth choice instructor delivering the instruction in Fairbanks, Alaska? Or are we going to use the technology that's at our disposal to deliver high quality content from the best instructor in the world that we can find in Fort Myers, Florida, to deliver that class in Fairbanks, Alaska? And how can we do that? We can only do it with the partnerships, with leveraging technology, with looking to the future and thinking outside of the box. Okay, it's HTM in a box, maybe it's HTM outside of the box. And maybe we need to look at how we do it differently, not how we've been doing it. And I think that really kind of underscores the value of this relationship, this partnership, is we're pushing one another.
Yeah, and I think that level of innovation and creativity really started 18 months ago with the call of panic, because you're like, well, we only offer online. I'm like, that's fine, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because it was valid, it was reliable, and it still got the students actually more ahead than where they would have been had I offered those with the 4th or 5th best instructor on my campus that I still couldn't find. So I think that's a very good point, that we've got to start thinking the future of education is just as far down the road as the future of HTM, but if we don't start doing it differently and thinking about it in an innovative way, we're going to be left behind and we're going to continue to fail to meet industry needs.
Yeah, and the only way it works, again, is if there's collaboration, there's leveraging technology, there's industry partners with skin in the game, that believe in what you're doing, that feel that they have a vested interest and a valued interest in what they're doing and their participation. And the graybeards of the industry, those that have been around forever, those 50 to 60-year-olds that are like, hey, I'm aging out, and they know it, they're saying it, the writing's on the wall. Now's the time. Now's the time to give back, provide the mentorship, provide the guidance, make sure that that legacy of excellence is left behind for the next generation of HTM professionals. So we're getting ready to head into the expo here pretty soon, and we're going to have an opportunity to engage firsthand with a number of really important industry partners and meet some people we've never met before. I have a couple of really high priority talking points that I want to bring to the table, and I shake someone's hand and I have to explain who I am. The top of my queue is we're an educational partner. We're helping train the next generation of biomeds and technicians and HTM professionals, and we need your support. We're here to support you, but we need your support. So what's in the top of your queue? What questions do you have for them, and how do you want to cultivate this relationship from SCC's perspective?
I think one of the important things to discuss would be the fact that we have this ability to upskill existing professionals in the workforce. So not only do we have the opportunity to build up an emerging workforce, but we have an opportunity to come alongside them and provide either continuous education for their existing personnel or credential some of their existing folks. Many of the biomeds throughout industry aren't credentialed, but have been doing it for years. And so we have the opportunity to provide that credentialing from reputable educational institutions if they desire to be able to help support their staff in that regard. So I think that's something that I would like to discuss as well.
So I propose that we end this conversation and that we go find a couple of those people and have a conversation with them.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we're really excited to be here with you today, Jake. Jake Powell from IMED Biomedical, located up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yep. Fantastic industry partner. Great to have the opportunity to introduce Ashley, Dr.
Certainly.
Ashley Spanigal, to Jake. Jake's been a long-time partner, supporter, and contributor to the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology. And I just really wanted to kind of ask you, Jake, about your perspectives in terms of how you see the relationship and the value between an industry leader like yourself and an academic institution like ours, and how those two things work together.
Sure. It's a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I think it's important because we can, whenever we're bringing technicians in, we're able to identify some shortcomings or weaknesses that they may get from coming off of an institution, and have that relationship with your school to be able to give that feedback on, hey, these students that are coming in are really weak in these areas, and that really needs to be improved before they come into the field to help make sure that the transition is successful. Having that direct feedback to the school and having them reciprocate the information back to the students in the training program and all that is great.
And that's been amazing. The contribution you provided, the collaboration, that spirit of cooperation and support really has helped to make our school a success. Jake, Ashley, you don't know this, but is also one of our industry partners that hires our students. So I don't know if you can tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so we basically got Raul. He was an intern at the time, and he came in and he was so phenomenal the first week. We were like, we've got to hire this guy. We don't want him to leave after his internship. So we basically made an offer and we brought him on. We let him finish his internship, and at least at that point is paid. and he's still with us today. He's one of our top 3 employees we have. He's a rock star. He really is.
So, and we both know that from an academic perspective, that is the best sort of affirmation we could possibly receive as a happy employer. So I appreciate that, Jake. The other piece I really wanted to kind of pick your brain on a little bit was talk about the HTM Association that you are a part of the leadership of here in Texas. And if you can just kind of share your thoughts and ideas on why you're doing that, why it's important to the industry.
Like we were talking a little bit yesterday about how it's kind of funny how it seems like just yesterday I got into the field and now I'm one of the graybeards, one of the more senior guys. I've been in the industry 17 years now, and I'm starting to see that there's a real disconnect between a lot of the folks that are retiring out of the field and a lot of the new people coming in, and there's not really a good centralized networking component for that. So North Texas has the HTMA NTX organization. I'm the secretary on the board of officers. I help out with the president, vice president, treasurer, kind of help oversee a lot of the operations and help out wherever I can. We're basically trying to get a lot of the new people into the organization. It doesn't cost anything, but basically get them in to network. It'll help them find jobs. It'll help them as they navigate through their career if they need any additional resources to be able to reach out to different folks. There's a lot of benefits that go along with it, but at the end of the day, I've started seeing that there was a shortcoming there, and I needed to step up and kind of help create that. And my goal at the same time is to do this for a few years and be able to pass the baton to some of the guys that are coming in now and hope to continue the legacy.
So that brings us to a really important other kind of place that we're trying to step in and fill a gap, and that is how do we turn more youth on to the career opportunity as a whole?
Right.
Because it's more than just once you get them in and keeping them in, right? It's turning them on to the idea of the career path. So how do you think industry could help us and educational institutions kind of step in that gap, plug that gap, and turn more students on to those opportunities?
I think probably the biggest contributing factor you could do is going to be just knowing what resources are out there. So if you have students that are in certain regions, know what HTMA organization is in that region and helps give them the, hey, this organization is in this region. We think it'd be very beneficial that you sign up and help start the networking, the gap at the same time, because a lot of these organizations, people go to them mainly for the job opportunities that are out there. So they, hey, this hospital's has 2 postings, this one has 1, to help kind of get the leg up, things like that. But also at the same time, we're trying to show them that this is a resource that you can have continuing for your career to not only just network for opportunities, but also if you're in a hospital and you're dealing with challenges and issues or concerns, that you can basically reach out to your organization of your network peers and be able to kind of get guidance and support and information and things like that. So that's probably the biggest benefit. And most of these organizations across the U.S. are zero to no cost, and the return factor is pretty high.
Yeah, I think, Jake, what you're providing to the industry on the service side is phenomenal. You've created a wonderful reputation, great company. We're proud to be associated with you. I think equally important, the work that you're doing with the HTM organization. Those sorts of societies and associations are hugely important to our students. We're in the student placement business. You guys are in the student hiring business. The role you're playing as a mentor, not only in Texas but nationally, is pivotal to the future of the industry. We're critical mass. There are more people retiring than coming in.
Yeah.
Sure.
You doing what you're doing is making the difference, and we appreciate that 100%.
Absolutely. No, it's a pleasure. I mean, your organization's put out some really good technicians, so I've seen that firsthand, and I can vouch for it. So
Appreciate it, Jake.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks for taking time to chat with us.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are excited to be here in Dallas, Texas with our friends from Tech Nation and MD Expo. And Ashley and I have been talking to some of our industry partners over the last couple of days about how we bridge the gap between education and industry. And one of the biggest challenges that we have as educators is really connecting high quality, fantastic students with like-minded employers. that understand an employer has to have some skin in the game. Educational institutions can do so much, but every company is different. Every company has unique requirements and needs. We do our best on the education side to provide that student a pathway. Your team provides an amazing opportunity to help bridge that gap for us. So I don't know if you can just share a little bit about opportunities for students that are coming out of programs like ours or others, and how you help them connect to great employers in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So HTM Jobs is kind of the match.com, if you will, connecting the candidates with the employers. So we're a niche job board that really connects qualified candidates to open positions in the HTM community. We're kind of the first one that really focuses on the HTM field. There's not anyone really like us. Instead of sifting through hundreds of job listings and sitting there waiting for the employers to look through hundreds of resumes, we want to be able to connect them as quickly as possible so they can get that first crucial job to start advancing in their career.
I love it. And so, like, one of the things that has really stood out to me is the need is so great that it's a no-brainer, and what you are providing to the industry is amazing. There should be no reason that there's a student in the biomed HTM industry that does not have a job.
Absolutely.
And I think you two are playing a really important role in guaranteeing that. So we truly appreciate that. As part of our educational consortium, we have really a team of teams sort of approach to our education. Ashley is in charge of a program at Southeast Community College in Iowa. Got a fantastic biomed program there. We, of course, have a national online program. And, it's partnerships like these and the collaboration with people like you that are really going to help our students, which is what we're all about. It's all about the students. So, just truly appreciate what you do, and I appreciate the collaboration and support. And,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Of
for your
course.
time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Hey, Matt, really excited to see you again.
Always.
It's been a little while.
Always.
Every time we do one of these expos or events, absolutely love running into Matt Bauman from Technical Prospects. They are one of our really important industry partners, been a long-time collaborator, like-minded thinker, partner. You guys do really great work up there in Wisconsin. So, again, kind of the theme that Ashley and I have been talking to our industry partners and friends about is, how we elevate education, how we make the content, the curriculum better than it was, and produce biomeds that are stronger than they otherwise would be. So, from our perspective, having relationships with folks like you are hugely important.
Right.
So I don't know if you just want to talk a little bit about your perspective from the industry side, what it means to you.
I mean, really, it's the biggest concern in the industry is talent and the talent shortage that we're faced with. And we hear about it day in and day out. So really, the key of the equation, it's kind of like forestry. For every engineer that retires, every biomed that retires, you really need one or two more to take the place just to keep at that regular level. So really, the encouragement of getting into the industry that you guys provide helps create that biomed student that goes into the industry and then in turn moves on to imaging or moves on to another part of HTM that is so needed in this day and age.
And what I love about our friendship, because
Yes.
I think great business starts with great friendship, but what I love about our friendship / business relationship is that you guys understand that we are not competing.
Oh,
we
no.
are collaborating in this space, and this is what actually brought Ashley and I together to form an educational consortium whereby we are trying to elevate the content, elevate the curriculum, and again, just produce better biomeds. And so,
totally.
Our hope is that they come out of our program and then look to other opportunities for continuing education, professional development, and I think Tech Prospects offers that. You guys have some really uniquely tailored offerings that, if a biomed comes out of our program, either in Iowa or, one of our other areas, and they want to take that next step, there's an opportunity. And I think so bridging the gaps and connecting those dots for those students, providing great mentors and opportunities is important to us.
Yes, and that is key because you need those relationships forged to help give that path to success, whether you're going from BMET to imaging, which is always something we're concerned with being from the imaging perspective, or, just BMET into placement. So it's definitely something where, it doesn't happen overnight, but it takes teamwork, and I think it takes the industry as a whole being on the same page and really having that common goal no matter which path you're going down.
Awesome. Well,
So-
hey, we appreciate what you do.
Always,
And
likewise.
thanks for taking a couple minutes to talk with us.
Hey, anytime.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Matt. Okay. David, hey, great to be with you here today. Dallas MD Expo, always an exciting event. Lots of great folks running around here with us. Ashley, introducing you to David. David is one of our most important industry partners from MIS. Fantastic imaging company, great people. Love the support you guys have provided us in terms of updating our curriculum, getting the content right, make sure that what we're providing for our students is exactly what you need. So just wanted to take a couple of minutes and kind of bend your ear and get your thoughts on a couple of things and perspectives that are on our mind. One of which is really kind of, what are your expectations as an industry leader when you're hiring new technicians? What is it that you're looking for?
That's a good question. There's the it factor. I mean, that's what we kind of call it. There's no real sweet spot for it, but the it factor is what we're looking for. And the challenge that we have is finding that it factor, finding those guys that are coming out of school. Right now in our industry, we've got a few places that we can hire. We can go hire from a competitor. We can go hire from a school and then train them. And that's where we kind of like the way we're talking with you guys is your curriculum and building to get the guy that comes out or girl that comes out and can actually go to work for you and actually be a product to produce something out. Because right now it's very difficult in our industry to find.
Right. Yeah, so one of the really nice things about this sort of relationship and bringing you into this is, so we represent two different ends of the educational spectrum. As a private vocational college, we're a little more agile, a little more nimble. We can kind of react to what you're telling us and respond to that. Traditional education is a little slower to respond, not by choice, but by architecture. Yeah. So the collaboration on this side has been great. It is even better because of your support. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, Ashley, would you?
Well, even the traditional college setup, we rely on industry to tell us you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong, and we're irrelevant if we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So even though we have 100 years of tradition, we still have to be relevant. So we lean on partnerships like you to make sure that we can produce exactly what it is that you need to be able to take off running.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's exciting to be able to do this and build out and create something to where, because to date, there's not a place in the industry for us. We're specifically imaging, not biomed only, but imaging is a big piece of ours. And there's no way to get someone right out of school that's ready to go hit the market yet. And that's what we're shooting for. That's what we want. That's what we need.
Yeah, well, I think our work together, that's what we're aiming for.
Yep.
So if we can create that technician that's ready to go to work tomorrow, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we appreciate all your help and support in getting there. And, thanks. Great to see you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Excited to be here at MD Expo with our good friend Cheryl from MMS. And if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, no problem. Cheryl with Multi-Medical Systems. I'm the Director of Surgical Services and Biomedical Solutions. I live in Bakersfield, California, but I travel nationally. I'm very happy to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, and we are too. And the reason we wanted to just take a minute and speak with you is for the past couple of years, you've worked with us, supported us, provided us guidance and expert advice on placing our students, which we're in the educate and place students business. And people like you are just indispensable to the work that we do.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it. So I just wondered, if you can tell us a little bit more about, from an employer standpoint, from a perspective, if you can talk to us about what you want to see in the students that you're hiring.
I think what we want to see really, Monty, is that eagerness to learn, right? The eagerness to jump in and get involved. And I think a lot of it is more the person. We could teach them technical skills after you go to the classes. And, my daughter went to your school. She graduated recently. I think we can give them more technical skills if they want to learn. They just want to get involved. The biomed industry is just amazing. It is just, the things that you get to experience and do and help patients with. I don't think people really know what a biomed is, but we're happy to have you guys in this field teaching. But we'd love to hire new talent.
And so one of the things that I love about this relationship is that, from an education perspective, our view is that the employers need to have some skin in the game, that we're going to do our very best to give you the most talented students we can, but at the end of the day, there needs to be an expectation with the employer. They know there's some unique qualities, training expectations they're going to have to deal with. You guys have been a remarkable partner in terms of understanding that. I love that you brought about your daughter. She's at Banner Health now?
Yeah, she's going to go to Banner Health on a paid internship, as well as her boyfriend. who she started in the program because of the pandemic, and she didn't really know exactly what I did, and she moved back home for a little bit, and she heard all the urgency of trying to get biomeds in hospitals to help out from California to New York, right? And she started asking me more and more questions about it. We sat down. I got her connected with Perry Kerwin, with Jojo Gonzalez. I let her talk to Danielle with Amy, and she got so excited about it. She goes, Mom, I want to do it. She was in the program for a month and a half, and her boyfriend joined the program a month and a half later. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
That's a really good, great story of how that evolved and how that relationship evolved with your daughter. Not everyone has a mother in their life that's in this field.
Yeah.
So how can we as educational institutions partner with industry to have more of those organic opportunities to engage younger individuals into this is a viable career opportunity and quite a lucrative opportunity for individuals.
Oh, absolutely. And with the attrition rate that's occurring right now in the HTM field, there's not enough students coming out of classes to fill the attrition, right? So I think that you start them younger. I mean, start talking to them at the junior high level, at the high school level. You know, I've done a lot of talks at high schools or, you know, service groups, whether it be Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and, you know, looking for careers because not everybody's meant for a four-year school, right? And the HTM industry, you can do so many different modalities, whether it's imaging, you can get into specialties, you can do teaching, you can move up the ranks. There's so many places. You open it up, gosh, how many people need a biomed director right now? I mean, I can tell you right now, I have 20 hospitals. I've been placing directors in hospitals to help out temporarily, but the field's wide open, and especially for young women. I don't think has been, you know, expressed to them that this is definitely, they're multitasked, right? They handle stress well usually, right? And they're kind, they're considerate, their hearts just as women, as how we're like mothering. I think it's a good field for women to get into.
Well, we truly appreciate your support, your
yeah.
mentorship, your guidance, the collaboration in this endeavor, and we look forward to many more years of working with you.
Oh yeah, I just love you guys. We're excited to be with you guys and bringing your students to work for us.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Nice to meet you. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
All right, thank you so much to Ashley and to Monty for that presentation. We would like to open up now for our audience to have a question and answer session. As a reminder to everyone, please use the question feature to ask a question. We do have just a few minutes. A few questions that have come in, Ashley and Monty, are what does the educational partnership between CBET and SEC mean for students?
So Ashley, why don't I start out, and then I'd like you to really hit that one home because I think you have the best answer for the question. But I would just say for the College of Biomedical Equipment Technology, as we mentioned earlier in our discussion, it is, for us, it's flagship Iowa. It gives us the opportunity to engage with a population of students in a region of the country we would otherwise not have direct access to or be directly engaged in. Equally important for us is a partner with whom we feel very confident with in terms of the program, the curriculum, and the services that those students are receiving, and feel it's commensurate with those that we're providing. And so if we have an international student, or we have a student with a particular desire or need, or wants a more traditional type of education with those sorts of facilities and support architecture around them, SCC for us is a wonderful partner. We are comfortable sending our students to them and collaborating in this endeavor. So Ashley, that's our half.
Yeah, so I would say that just to add on to that, it depends on what the desire of the student is, right? Because of the partnership that we have, not only do we have all of the benefits that you just heard about in the video, but also all of the different experiences that we can provide students, whether they want a traditional experience or a not so traditional experience. If a student wants to get away from home and they want a true college on-campus living experience, we have that coupled with all of the support services. So with the partnership that we have, we can really come around students from all walks of life and provide them with experiences. Similarly, if we have a student that maybe is a working learner and they're already a professional that's been in the field for years, but wants a credential, we can help with that as well. And we can credential existing workforce, or we can help maybe provide continuing education opportunities for existing workforce. So just the partnership brings a lot of different things for students depending on what that student needs. And I think the fact that it can be so customizable is really what sets it apart.
Great. Okay, our next question is, what is the added value that industry partners can expect from engaging in this type of work?
So Ashley's got a really hefty background in terms of aligning curriculum and programs with industry partners. So Ashley, I don't know if you want to lead into this question, and I'll follow up after you.
Sure. So I think one of the things that as an educational institution working in the space of workforce development, we're not providing just a generalist. We're not providing students with vanilla skill sets as we described in our presentation, but we're providing and aligning truly with what industry needs. And so as an industry partner, engaging with us in this work, you can expect to be heard. You can expect to be confident that what you share with us as your need is truly going to be addressed, whether that be an update to our curriculum, maybe even a new standalone program that provides those additional skill sets that you desire. Yes, we have 100 years of experience here at Southeastern working to really serve the community and local workforce and meet those needs. But in the modern era, we have kind of mastered the ability to really be responsive to our industry and the needs that they have. So I think the biggest benefit for an industry when they engage with us in this work is to have their voices heard and their needs truly addressed. I think also a need, a kind of added benefit would be we have this desire to engage students at a much younger level than just when they come to us, than when they happen to come to us as students. And so I think as industry, in that regard, you have the opportunity to get in front of students in 8th grade, get in front of 4th graders, get in front of 9th graders to really show your passion about what this career looks like for you. And then it helps you kind of, for those individuals maybe exiting the workforce, pass the torch, if you will. So there's a lot of opportunities to engage in that space. So I could talk all day long. Monty, I'll pitch it back over to you.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, you know, reflective of the conversations we had with a couple of the folks up at the Dallas MD Expo event. Several examples, MMS out of California, and National Hire, they're hiring biomeds all over the country. Wonderful partner for us, hiring our students. They understand our program, they have confidence in our program. They know what the quality of that student looks like, and they know that because they're engaged with us directly. Similarly, IMED Biomedical up in Dallas-Fort Worth area, fantastic partner, Jake, up there running a great company, veteran-owned company, doing wonderful things and hiring our students because they know the quality that's coming out of here. MIS, you know, they have a location out in Woodstock, Georgia, and one in Las Vegas, and they're hiring, you know, biomeds that are interested in getting careers in imaging, and they're working with us to improve our curriculum and content and better align our programs with their needs. And although we can't be all things to all people, like Ashley said, we don't want a vanilla program. We want to keep our program, our content, our curriculum, and our instruction as close to the industry front lines as we can. If we're doing that, then we're serving our industry partners. And the only way we can do that is if they're engaging with us. And I will say from our perspective, we're engaged with them every week. Every week we're having conversations with these folks and we're listening to you, we're responding to you, and we're trying to deliver on our promise.
Thank you so much, Ashley and Monty, for a fantastic presentation. We are out of time, unfortunately, for today. We do have a few more questions, but I'll send those to you afterwards. I would like to encourage everyone in our audience to visit our sponsors today to learn more about the services that they provide to our industry. Please visit cbet.edu and scciowa.edu. A quick reminder to our audience that you can obtain your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey. The survey will be emailed to you 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1 CE credit from the ACI, and you'll be able to download your certificate immediately once the survey is submitted. If you have any questions, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. We'll be back next week with another webinar. Please visit webinarwednesday.live for more details and for complimentary registration. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.